Everybody, welcome in. Happy Wednesday, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday today. But welcome everybody. We'll get started in just a minute here. I've got all my nails ready to go. I've got my striping paints that I'm going to be using today. We've got some great colors to show you. And I'm still going to be doing one more 4th of July nail today. So that's why I've got my red, white, and blue out here. So let's see who is with us. Caroline DePaula, nice to see you. I haven't seen you I haven't seen your name in a little while, but maybe you've been joining us. But welcome in. Let's see, who else do we have? You guys, let me know that you're here. Put your, well, I guess your name will go in the chat, but say hi. Let me know where you're joining from. I would love to know. I always see some of our people that are watching from all different locations. So you guys let me know where you're watching from. I love to hear where we're communicating from. Josie, hey, how you doing? Let's see, Tina, Lori and Chris and Floofs, and we always got to get Floofs in there. I love it. Let's see, Cheryl, Josie, Macon, I think I pronounced that correctly, from Denmark. And let's see, Felicia, I hope it's Felicia or Felicia. And Charms from Nova Scotia, Canada. We do ship to Canada now, you guys. So anybody joining us from Canada, you can order from our website. So that's super exciting to me because we've got a lot of customers in Canada. So you guys, you can all get these awesome products now by ordering on the website. We've got Wyoming, Nigeria. Oh my gosh, welcome, welcome. UK, Netherlands. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love it. Love seeing all of these exciting places that I just want to come visit. And Portland, Oregon, Georgia. Oh my gosh, I love it, you guys. Awesome, awesome. So welcome everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. Like I said earlier, if you didn't jump in right on time there, we're going to be doing one more red, white, and blue design for 4th of July. But then if we got a little extra time, I might show you a bonus design today. We'll see about that. But let's see. Oh, Josie is asking right away, Karen, what's the nude color on your nails? You guys don't look too close. I am in desperate need of a fill here. But the nude color that I have is our concealer pink gel. And that's all that I've got. Actually, you know what? I probably have, if I remember correctly, I have our concealer pink gel that I built the whole nail out of. And then I probably did one coat of our sheer pink. Oh, let me see. Sheer Pink 101. I always like to do Sheer Pink 101 from our ManiQ collection. It's a beautiful sheer pink, but it just kind of smooths the surface of your concealer pink. Just gives it just a, I don't know, just a little bit more perfection. And we also have concealer pink, concealer peach. And then we also have Sheer Pink 102, which is a little bit more peachy. So those two colors go really well together. But that's what I've got on my nails today. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. So I did pull out all of our striper paints today. The ones that I'm really going to be using is the red, white, and blue, because we're going to do one more design for 4th of July. You guys, I don't know about you, those of you that are working in salon, I'm guessing that you've been doing lots of red, white, and blue designs. You guys throw some hearts in the chat if you've been doing a lot of red, white, and blue designs past couple of weeks here. But I'm just going to kind of swatch these out for you guys really, really quick so that you can see exactly what these colors look like. They are so pretty. They are kind of chrome looking. So if you don't have chrome powders, these are kind of a great substitute. They're great for doing other designs, but the blue and the red, and so the blue and the red are going to be what's going to be part of our design today. And then also the white. You may not be able to see the white very well on my tile here, but it's a good solid white. So the colors have kind of that shimmer, that chrome look to them. And then we have the white and we also have black, but those two are just solid colors, so they don't have that chrome look to them. Okay, so let me just swatch out the rest of them so you can kind of see what your other options are. So like I was saying, that black is just a really good solid black, highly pigmented, really dark. With the striper brushes, a little bit of that is going to go a long way. So they work really, really great. And then we've got a gold, Again, the rest of these colors are all going to have that metallic look. So we've got gold and we've got silver. You guys, you can see as I take the brush out of the bottle, I really make sure to kind of get that extra off of the stem of the brush, just so I don't dribble all over. So we got our silver and gold. And then we've also got green. And this is kind of a light, it's a really great for summer. This is going to be a summery kind of a green. I'm not quite going to say limey because it's not quite lime, but great for summer. And then kind of a rosy pink. I really like this one. It's just almost a hint of purple to it, but not quite. But I absolutely love this. So these are the striping paints that I'm going to be working with today. Again, I'm going to start with our red, white, and blue. But I just wanted to swatch those out so you guys can see all of the great colors and the options that you guys have. So the design I'm going to be doing today, like I said, I'm going to start with a 4th of July design, but you can use any of these colors to recreate this design for any time. So it doesn't have to just be for 4th of July, okay? So let me set some of these off to the side so I don't knock them all over. You guys, if you hear bottles falling over, it's probably because I bumped these and all of them fell over. Normally I keep them in my little tray here, but today we've got red, white, and blue. All right, you guys, so I'm going to start with a dimensional design. So I'm going to start by using these stripers in our nail rather than actually on our nail. And let's go ahead and prep our nail. And you guys, let me know in the chat, because those of you that have been watching us for a while, I want to make sure that you know that you're learning and that you're getting something from these videos. So what is the first thing that we're going to do for the prep of our nails? Tell me in the chat, what do we do first thing to prep our nails? Going to be a trick, a quiz here at the end of today's lesson. No, I'm just kidding, you guys. Okay, so if you didn't know, the first thing is we're going to push back our cuticles. And looks like a bunch of you got the right answer. Awesome. I love to see that. That means that you guys have been listening. You've been paying attention. So yes, we're definitely going to push back that cuticle. And then next thing we're going to do is clean off or remove the shine. And that is where we're coming in with the sanding band. So I know somebody had mentioned sanding band. Sanding band is going to be our second step. So we're going to turn our speed on our E-file to about 5,000 RPMs. I'm going to come up around that cuticle, coming up and around, just kind of short little strokes. I'm not using a lot of pressure, just very light up and around. And then I'm just going to use kind of a feathering motion all the way through the rest of the body of the nail. And I'm moving my bit. Let me turn on the side. I'm moving the bit so I'm using the top part of the bit, the middle part of the bit, and the base part of the bit. So I'm not just trying to use one area. I'm using the whole thing, and that's where you're going to get good contact all the way through that whole entire nail, okay? So make sure you're just kind of feathering through, remove all the shine. If you need to, just do a quick little swipe down the side if maybe you missed that little area there. And then also if maybe you missed the area over here, use more of the base of the bit and just do a quick little swipe down that side or any last little bits that you may have missed. Let's see, somebody's asking, how often should you change your arbor band? You guys, this should be changed after every client, okay? You don't want to reuse these, so to change them out, all I usually do is I'll take my magic wand or cuticle pusher or even like the end of a brush or my dotting tool, something like that. I'll hold on to the sanding band and then kind of put some pressure onto that mandrel, and then you can just slide that sanding band out. But yes, these should be replaced for every client. And then also the mandrel, this should be sanitized and disinfected in between. I know we're not actually using this on the client. It's not really touching, but it is going to get some of that dust and possible skin, cuticle debris and that kind of stuff on here. So the metal part can be sanitized and disinfected. The sanding band is not sanitizable and disinfectable. If you do wash it, it's going to kind of fall apart. So make sure that the sanding band gets thrown away after every client and that the mandrel inside there does get sanitized and disinfected. Okay, great question. You guys definitely feel free to ask questions in the chat here. I try to answer as many as I can. But sometimes as I'm working, I miss those questions. But we do have a bunch of great moderators here that are here to help answer questions as well. So feel free to ask anything that you would like pertaining to nails. Let's keep it to nail talk here, you guys. Okay, next thing I'm going to use is our swipe. This is our blue product. It's our cleanser. And I'm going to put just a little bit, I'm going to kind of pump that up into my brush here. And we're going to use that to cleanse this nail. So I'm going to kind of brush through that nail, making sure all of that dust is removed, any germs that are on the nail, any bacteria. And this is also going to help to kind of remove some of that surface oil. So once this dries, it's going to look nice and kind of chalky looking. So we're going to just wait for a few seconds, and then you'll start to see kind of come back to a little bit more of that chalky look. There we go. Now you can start to really see that. Okay. This is what your nail should look like before you go into your protein bond. If you see any of that swipe that's still wet around the edges, give it a little bit longer and let that swipe dry before we go to our protein bond. Because if we put our protein bond on while that swipe is still wet, it's basically going to kind of null and void the protein bond. So we want to make sure that the nail is nice and dry before we apply protein bond. And protein bond is our bonder. It works kind of like a double-sided tape, so it's going to stick down to that natural nail, but it's going to leave a tacky surface for our product to adhere to. So you guys take a look. On this half of the nail, I don't have any of that protein bond. On this half, I do. You can always tell if you've got protein bond on. If you know you went through and you did your prep correctly, it's going to look kind of that sticky look when you have protein bond. It's going to look chalky if you don't have protein bond. So kind of keep that in mind as you're working. You don't want to forget that protein bond. So if your nail ever looks chalky and you're about to apply your product, go back and apply your protein bond, okay? Now I'm going to do 2 coats of protein bond. This is going to ensure that we've got really good adhesion over that whole nail, making sure that I cover all of the areas. If you do 1 coat, it may be okay. It may give you good adhesion, but to make sure that you get that best adhesion, we recommend doing 2 coats, okay? All right, sounds like a lot of you have been joining us before. I love it. If we do have any newcomers here, welcome in. I am so excited that you guys are here with us. Make sure that you do hit that subscribe button so that you can get all the free information, free education, and you can join us again. But definitely welcome in. We love that you're here. We love seeing all the new names in the chat, all the, I call them faces, because that's exactly what you guys are right now, your faces. Okay. So I'm going to be sculpting our nail, and I've grabbed one of my red XL for my extra long nails. I'm not going to be sculpting an XL form or an XL nail today, but that's just what I grabbed handy here. So I'm going to put that little tab from the center on the back, give me a little bit extra support here for my form, and then I'm going to pinch those 2 little tabs together, nice and even, and then we're going to pinch that down just a little bit. We're definitely going to go a little shorter today. So you can either pre-pinch your forms or pinch them once they're actually onto the nail. Today I'm just going to pinch that a little bit shorter before I put that on. And then I'm going to open up that little top part. There's a little perforation right through there. And then we'll get our form on the nail. So I'm going to kind of come at a slight downward angle, and then I'm just going to start to kind of lift up so that form, let me kind of over exaggerate this, let you guys see from the sides. So what I'm doing is I'm actually starting kind of with my form angled downward. We don't want to leave it that angled. We want to just lift up until it comes more straight out from that nail, and then you can secure it down on the sides, okay? Then you can pinch that form a little tighter if you want a little shorter nail, and that is perfectly good. Okay, let's take a look here. Come in. I want to make sure that my form is nice and straight. I'm going to kind of readjust this just a little bit here. And now I think our form is nice and straight. So I want kind of that point down here to be right kind of in the center of that nail. And it still looks like it's just a hair off. Okay, now everything looks nice and straight. So make sure that your form is straight coming out from the nail. Make sure that it is straight coming out from your sidewalls from this direction. You guys see how the light reflects right through here? that's going to be my guide, okay? I know there's those lines on the form that are going to help you. That's going to help, definitely, but that kind of that light reflection, that's also going to be your guide. But again, we've got those dark kind of red lines right here. That's again also going to be your guide, okay? All right, let's start building our nail. And I'm going to start with my clear sculptor. And I'm using the clear sculptor in the precision tubes. And you guys, especially if you're a beginner, I think these work excellent for beginners. I think it works really excellent for anybody, but I really like the precision tubes because I feel like I have really good control with them, okay? I'm just gonna start by creating my free edge. Now I'm not trying to build up structure to this nail right now. All I'm trying to do is build basically a platform to create my design on. And then we'll build up kind of in layers to give the nail more structure. So I just squeezed out a little bit of that product, bring it all the way out to those edges, and then I'm just gonna kind of feather that product down. I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm gonna squeeze out just a little bit more there. And again, just kind of feathering it down, using that applicator, that kind of that point of the applicator to just guide my product down into place. And maybe just a little bit longer here. Okay, I think we've got about the shape that I want. I am gonna grab my brush, and I do have a little mixing tile here that I like to use. I just use that to kind of clean out my brush so that I've got a nice clean brush to work with. I'm gonna use the edge of my brush, and I'm gonna basically kind of sweep up those sides here to really make sure that my product is straight in line with my sidewalls. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to use the edge of my brush, sweep that right up, all the way up into that little corner so that I have product all the way back right up into here. Now if you need to, again, you can just kind of use your brush, feather that product where you need to. If maybe you need to pull that product forward, you can use the edge of the brush, pull that forward, create your shape, and then we're going to get that into our light. Now here's the trick. Be very careful with your form so that you don't bump that form on the edge of the light. We don't want that form to pop. So I'm just going to kind of help my client into that light. So that's why I'm holding her here. I didn't want that form to bump on the bottom of the light. I don't want that form to pop off, because then that's going to be a whole nother challenge of fixing and things like that. But on this layer, I'm just going to freeze this in the light for about, I would say 20 to 30 seconds, and then we will go on to our next layer. And I think that's good enough that I can let go of her here. So our next layer is going to be our base gel. You always want to start with the base gel on the natural nail, because this is going to be what gives the nail that really good adhesion, okay? If you skip the base layer, then you tend to have a little bit more chance of product lifting or separation. So make sure that when you're doing hard gels, that you always stick with that base on that natural nail. Now I know that we've already got our extension built out, and that is perfectly fine. As long as we have that base on the natural nail, that's what's important, okay? And I'm just gonna I'm gonna pick up just a little bit more here. I'm gonna just kind of press that product down into the nail, really getting all of that product down into those little nooks and crannies of the nail, and really kind of getting it to weave down into that top layer of the nail. The next thing that I like to do, and this is kind of an optional, but it works really well for me, and especially if you're a beginner, I would recommend doing this. Take one more little pearl and just kind of drizzle that right along where the natural nail and that extension connect. This way it's going to really bond that free edge to our natural nail, and then when we go to take off our form, we're not going to have to worry about our free edge cracking off at all. Oh my gosh, Ninja Snuggle, thank you so much. We appreciate you very much. Thank you, thank you. And then this is gonna go back into the light again one more time for another, I would say 20 to 30 second freeze, okay? All right, you guys, are we ready for the colors and the fun? I think I am. So again, like I was showing you guys before, we're going to be using 3 of our striper gels, and we've got our red, white, and blue, and it's going to be fun. And then I also have our silver foil. So this is kind of a leafy kind of a foil. It's very light, it's kind of delicate. And I always say if you put it out onto your tile, just make sure that you don't sneeze because it's going to go blowing away, okay? So I'm going to keep that covered up until I need it. But let's take our nail back out. And at this point, I can remove my form. So I'm just going to kind of pinch that product or pinch that form away from the product and then release that and remove that form. This way, by removing the form, when we go to do our dimension and our colors on the nail, it's going to really be able to cure all the way through. If you leave that form underneath there, sometimes if you have a really dark color or even if you're using white on the nail, on that free edge, it may not cure all the way through because it needs to cure from the bottom up and also from the top down. So that's why we remove that form. Oh my gosh, Alyssa, I think it's Alicia. I apologize for the pronunciation, but thank you so much. We appreciate you. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing today. I thank you so very, very much. All right, you guys got me sidetracked here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to start with our red. And again, you guys, these are striper brushes, so you kind of have to work with them a little bit different, but I'm really kind of tapping off any extra paint that is on the handle of the brush here so that it's not going to run down onto that striper brush. And I'm going to start, we're going to go actually red, white, and blue onto the nail. And I'm going to come right up around that cuticle area. So this way I get a really good application around my cuticle. I get super close to that cuticle and I don't get product on the skin. And again, you guys, using these little striper brushes is amazing. Look at how easy that was to get that product nice and tight around the cuticle. Now I know on the camera it probably looks like I'm a little ways away from the cuticle, and I am just a little bit. I always say that you kind of want to leave just a little hairline between your product and your cuticle. So that way you're assuring that you're not touching that cuticle. And I'm just going to kind of feather this out, just kind of polishing that on to give myself a little bit more full coverage up by that cuticle area. Okay, I think I like how that one's looking. I'm going to put my brush back in. I'm going to grab my white. And remember that the red and the blue both have a little bit of that metallic to them. The white does not have the metallic. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're creating your designs, just depending on what you want your design to look like. So let's do a little bit of that white right in the middle. Grab a little bit more. Now you guys notice that I'm not going all the way up to the red. The reason for that is I don't want to get any of that red paint on my brush. Now if I did get a little closer and I did get a little bit of that paint on my brush, that's another reason that I have my little tile down here is I'll just wipe out my brush and make sure that any of that red that got into my brush gets cleaned out before I put my brush back into the bottle. All right, let's take our third color, which is our blue. And same thing, I'm going to kind of tap off that top part, get rid of some of that excess, and then we'll add our blue down at the base here. And again, you guys, I love these brushes, especially trying to get around those sides. It's a perfect little striper to go right along those edges there. Let's see, we'll grab just a little bit more. A little more of that blue and coming kind of right up to that white. And maybe just a little bit more. Okay, I think we're good. Again, I'm going to kind of clean out my brush, make sure that if I did get any of that white on my brush, that I close that up. Now, here's where we get to have fun and be a little bit messy. I'm just grabbing it's one of my older brushes. It's just one of our older art brushes. And I'm going to take a little bit of my swipe. Let me come out so you guys can see that. So we got that little cup on the top. I'm just going to pump a little bit of swipe up in there. Let's see if you guys can see that here. There we go. So I'll pump just a little bit of that up into that top cup. Anytime I do this, it has a tendency to just, be like a little water fountain. There you go. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that swipe on my brush. And I'm going to tap out just a little bit of that. I don't want quite so much. MPE, I should have gotten these striper gels when they first came out. You know what? They're still available, so grab them now while you can. So don't worry though, you guys, they are still available. If you don't have them, you can always grab them. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of tap that edge and just kind of blending our red and our white together. I just don't want to have a really harsh line. I'm not going to try to make this perfect. I'm just kind of cleaning my brush out here as I go. But yeah, I'm not trying to make it super perfect. I don't have to have a perfect blend. I'm not trying to do an ombre, because when we get to our foil, I'll show you how to kind of blend it all together using the foil. But just kind of blending all together here. A little bit more blend. Okay, let's go into our white and our blue, just kind of tapping those edges, creating whatever kind of a look you like, just kind of softening that connection there. Okay, I think I like that. I'm gonna clean out my brush good really one more time, and maybe just bring a little bit more of that red down into my white here. Okay, I think I like that. Before I cure this, I am going to kind of check my sides, make sure if I missed any areas on the sides, I can go ahead and touch those up. I think we're looking good. So let's just set this into the light one more time. We're going to just freeze that. Oops, sorry guys. There you guys can see. So again, back into our light. We're going to freeze that for another, say, 20 to 30 seconds or so. And in the meantime, I am going to clean off my little tile here. And I'm just using one of our table towels that I've cut. And you can use either polish remover or swipe, acetone, whatever. You can use that to kind of clean off that little tile there. Now, I'm going to get that nice and clean. And I do want to make sure this is dry. So I may even just kind of wipe that on my towel here. Make sure that's dry. So then we're going to take a little bit of our foil, and this is, like I said, our foil leafing, and you can, there we go, you can use it kind of chunky like it is, or sometimes I like to just using like a dotting tool or even the end of your brush, you can use it to kind of pull that apart a little bit, create bigger chunks, bigger pieces, or smaller pieces, however you want to use it. So again, just kind of breaking these up a little bit, so that I have a little bit more variety of what I'm going to place onto the nail. Okay, I think we're good there. So we've got, like I said, a good variety. I've got some bigger pieces and some smaller pieces, so we will see what we want to use. Somebody asked in the chat, what practice hand am I using? And you guys, everything that I'm using here today is Young Nails. It's all available on the website, so when we're done here and you're done learning for the day, head over to the website, youngnails.com, and you can see all of these amazing products. All right, so I'm just going to kind of clean out my gel brush again, and we've cured out our striper gels. So they do have a little bit of a tacky surface to them. So I'm just going to grab a few of these little pieces of my foil and set them down into that tacky surface. So this is why I was saying that I don't have to really make sure that my nail or those colors are completely blended, because I'm going to put the foil right over them and just kind of add to that blend. And guys, wherever you want those foils, if you want them right over the blend, you can put them right over the blend. If you want them over the whole nail, you can put them over the whole nail. But kind of what I like to do is, as I'm working, I kind of use my brush and sometimes just kind of poke at them, and that'll help to kind of just break those foils up a little bit. So it gives you a little bit more kind of spaced out pieces of it, so that it's not just one big chunk of foil. But if you want one big chunk of foil, just leave it on there as one big chunk. That is totally fine too. Like I say, you guys, it is whatever you want your design to look like, it's gonna look, okay? So you create whatever you want. All right, let me just grab a little bit more. I think I'm just gonna kind of fill in a little bit right in that white. We'll leave the red and the blue a little bit more solid, I think. And then, again, just kind of breaking up those pieces of foil. All right, maybe just one more down here. You guys, if you've been watching me, you always know there's just one more thing, just one last little detail, one more thing that I need to add. And I usually say, okay, that looks good, and yeah, maybe just a little bit more up into that red. But like I said, I don't want to completely cover the red and the blue. I want those to kind of be kind of the star colors of our nail here. So just a little bit more of that foil up into the red. Okay, I think I am liking how this is kind of balancing. What do you guys think? Think we're good on that? Let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if we're good. Give me a, I don't know, give me a thumbs down if you want more foil on there. But I think we're going to be pretty good. Now at this point, if I've made sure that I've got what the product that I want, I'm going to go through and just kind of make sure that everything is pressed down onto that nail so it's not poking out. Not a major concern because we are going to cap this, but I feel like it's going to just kind of, our gel is going to flow a little bit better if we've got all of those little pieces kind of pressed down. Okay. Now, one thing I like to do before I actually cap this is I'm going to go back into my light for just maybe, I don't know, like maybe 10 seconds or so. Just enough to kind of set those little foil pieces in there so that they don't move when I put my next layer of gel on. And then we'll just put those last little pieces of our foil back into our jar so that we can use them a little bit later. All right. So we've got our nail here. Let's go ahead and cap this. Now, I know a lot of you that watch us on a regular basis, you know that I usually like to use the Build Pink when I'm encapsulating my designs. Today, I'm going to stick with our Clear Sculptor. The reason for that is because I've got that white gel down there. I want to make sure that my white stays nice and white, so that's why I'm going to use the Clear Sculptor. I don't want that little bit of extra pink tint to it. So just with our Clear Sculptor, I'm going to squeeze out a good amount right by my cuticle area. And then I'm going to work kind of in a circular motion to just, again, guide that product into place. So guide that right up around my cuticle area, circular motions. And then if I need more product, I'm going to come back to the center and I'll squeeze out a little bit more. Now, do you guys see how my finger is angled? Oh, yeah, it's not quite straight down, but it's at a downward angle. The reason that I keep this at a downward angle, especially when I'm working with gels, is because gel is going to flow. It's going to move. So you want to work with gravity rather than against gravity. So that's why I'm keeping my finger straight down so that that product is going to flow down the length of the nail rather than back down into the sidewalls or into the cuticle area. So just kind of working that product down, and I'm squeezing out a little bit more as I go, just if I need any more product. And really just capping all the way through here. I'm going to grab my brush here, see if there's anything that I need to touch up just yet. And I feel like everything really kind of self-leveled pretty well, but I do want to make sure that I'm getting all the way to the edges, making sure that I do have all of that color sealed in. And then we're going to go back into the light for another 30-second freeze. So this time, it's going to go, like I said, back in for 30 seconds. I want to make sure that that product is fairly set. But what I'm going to do now after my 30 seconds is I'm going to take that nail out and I'm going to look from the side view. I want to make sure that I have enough product to build up my arch. I want to make sure that I have enough product to support the length of this nail. So I don't always try to get all the product on in one application. With gel does move, and if we wait too long to get that into the light, it can start to run down the sides. So yeah, you guys, you can definitely see here, I've got a little kind of a dip right through here. Not a big deal. I know that my product is going to be about where I need it here. It's starting to come up a little bit into an arch, and I know that I've got a good amount of thickness on my free edge. I'm just going to need to fill in this space right through here. So let's go back to our Clear Sculptor, and I'm going to squeeze a good amount right where I need it, right through that arch, just kind of filling in that low spot. Okay, now I'm not going to just leave it here. I am going to grab my brush and I just kind of feather out the sides so that it really just starts to kind of fill in, creating a nice arch, a nice apex. and really just filling in there. Okay, let's take a look at it from the side again, and just kind of, tapping wherever you need product, making sure that you have good structure. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more. I see from the side here I need just a little bit more right through there. All right, I think that's going to be good. And again, you guys, you can kind of let the product self-level a little bit. Let it kind of do the work for you, and then you just kind of guide it into place. Move it right where you need it. Again, I'm just kind of making sure my sides are all capped here so that I don't end up filing out my color. And I think we are good to go on that. So now we're going to give this a full cure for 60 seconds. So that's going to be in the light for a full 60 seconds. And then during this time, this is usually when I'm going through, I'm closing up my powder, not my powders, we're not using gel, or we're not using acrylic today, but close up all my gels, close up my base, all of that kind of stuff. And then also kind of start to clean up a little bit. So cleaning up my tile here, just wiping that down with our swipe or a little bit of acetone. Perfectly good. Let's see, Victoria Kilman, Karen, what solid color would you use to match this? Oh, what solid color would I use? I'm assuming that's what you're asking. What solid color would I use to accent this set? You know what, you guys, a red, white, and blue, I feel like a lot of times that is going to be your standout nail. So you could go with, just a nude kind of color. So concealer pink or peach would be great. You could do, I know a lot of people like white nails. I think white nails can be really pretty. You could even use the striper gel on the whole nail. And if you wanted to do on the whole nail, I would just put a little bit onto your tile here. So if you wanted this color as a solid color on the whole nail, just take a little bit of that paint onto your tile and then grab your gel brush, and then you can use that and just kind of paint that on. Okay, so you can use these for a solid nail, use solid color. They actually go on really, really nicely. They're really pigmented. So you can see with just this one coat, it's going to go on really good. Okay, I would still do 2 coats for good, good measure, but you can definitely use these as an accent. So I think that would be a really pretty, or the red, or a combination of both. Absolutely, you can do that. But yeah, you guys mix it up a little bit. Whatever looks good to you, whatever you and your clients decide, go for it. There's no rules, you guys. This is the thing about doing nails, is there's structurally, yes, there are some things that you want to make sure you're doing, but rules as to art, you do you guys. You have fun with it and create what you want to create. Okay. All right, I'm just going to close these bottles up really quick so I don't spill anything. And then let's go ahead to our dust collector here. Now, once our Synergy gels are cured, they do have a slight tack to them. So you want to come back to your swipe, use a little bit of that swipe on there, give those nails a really good cleanse, get all of that tacky surface off of there. And then we'll go ahead and do our filing. And I'm going to switch, you guys, we were using that sanding band before. I'm going to switch over to my X-Cut carbide. And this is what I like to use to take down bulk. I'm going to leave that out just a little ways. And then we'll get our dust collector on here. And then I'm going to turn my speed up to about 13,000, 14,000 RPMs. Oops. And then we're going to just work right down my sidewalls. So I'm going to turn so you guys can see a little bit better. There we go. All right. So I'm going to just come straight down my sides, tapering those down a little bit, straightening everything out. So pulling down on my right side, pushing up on my left side, again straightening out those edges. I'm going to turn that nail on the side. Now, because we used our brush to kind of clean up before we, as we were sculpting out that free edge, I don't have a lot of work to do on that lower arch, but if you need to, you can come back in and clean that up with your carbide, your X-Cut carbide here. Same thing on this side. I'm just kind of pulling forward keeping that line nice and straight. Now we're going to take a look at this nail from the side, and I'm going to work up around that cuticle area. So I'm going to take a look from here, come up around that cuticle, make sure everything is nice and thin, tapered, all the way through, all the way around. Notice that I'm kind of turning that finger as I go. So I'm just working up around, turning that finger, so I can see exactly where I'm filing. And then we'll start down the arch of the nail. And you guys, I'm going to show you something here. What happened when I got to this point is the base of my handpiece here bumped into my free edge. So I wasn't able to get right into where I needed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my handpiece here. I'm going to bring my bit out just a little bit more and then close that up. So this way I'm going to be able to flow all the way through here, and then it's not going to hit on the end there. So just a quick little tip. I did have that out a little ways, but not quite far enough for a nail this length. All right, so just coming right down the arch of that nail. And you guys, the view that you're seeing right now, this is exactly what I'm seeing as well. This is the view that you're going to be filing from, so that you can see that arch come into place. You can see how much you need to take down. So I'm going to come a little bit more here. So as you're filing, do you need to take down product through here, or down through here? So that's where you're going to hit. If your product is perfect right back here, leave that spot alone. Come back down to where you need to file. Once you have that, you've got you got your arch into place. Let me bring this back up here a little bit. You've got your arch in place, and then we're going to look down the barrel of the nail. And now we can just kind of pull through the sides, tapering those sides, and taking down the bulk through the sides. So this is really going to help contour that nail and give you a really nice C curve, really nice curve throughout that nail. And you guys, because I'm using gel today, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I don't need a lot of pressure with my e-file. So just kind of making contact. Again, basically making contact, pull forward, make contact, pull forward. Okay? All right, let's switch over because we've got the majority of our bulk taken down. Let's take our X-Cut carbide out. I'm going to switch back to my sanding band. And you guys, I always say, this is an optional step because you could just go right to your hand file at this point and it would be fine. But I like to use my, my sanding band at this point to really get nice and close. Let me come back out a little bit. To get nice and close up around that cuticle area, get everything really, really tapered around those sides. And especially for beginners, if you're not quite set on your hand filing skills with your hand file here, this can sometimes help to get right up into those areas and get them really nice and tapered. And then I just like to flow through that whole nail. And again, just kind of refining, really making sure everything is nice and smooth. Okay, let's come back from our front view. And again, just pulling forward, really refining. And again, you guys, if you needed to, you can use that sanding band on your lower arches to perfect that a little bit more. Works great in that spot. Same thing on this side if we need to taper that in at all. That sanding band works great for that too. Okay. All right, let me grab my hand file. And now at this point, all we're going to do is just kind of perfect our, kind of the perimeter of the nail. So our sides here, we're going to just make sure everything is nice and straight. Same thing on that left side, make sure everything is nice and straight and even. And I'm not going to spend too much time perfecting that point here because I'm going to do that when I turn the client's hand around and look from their perspective. We're just going to come up around that cuticle, tapering in those sides a little bit more, and then back down our other sides. And this is where you're really going to contour that nail. Let me back up just a little bit. There you go. So you can kind of see how I'm filing on those sides, kind of up and over, up and over. That's really going to give you that nice rounded edge to our nail here. Okay. Let me check my lower arches on the side here. making sure that that file comes straight out from that finger, straight out from that lower arch, that sidewall, so that it's nice and straight in line. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, turning that client's hand over. And I get a lot of questions, people asking, how do I do that on a real client? Just like this, you guys. It's all that you got to do is just turn that hand on the side here and turn the hand on the side here, okay? That's how I turn my client's hands, so that I can see that that nail is going to be nice and straight. That lower arch is going to be nice and straight. Okay? All right, so we've got our lower arches are good. I think we've got our contour pretty good. And then I like to kind of look at it just a little bit from the side view, just to see, do I need to taper down that free edge a little bit more? Is it too bulky at the free edge? Let me come in a little bit there. And just kind of taper that in. And I think we're good. But let's turn our client's hand around. So now we can see what she's going to see. And I think in our last video, somebody said, how do you do that on a real client? So if I'm the client here, all I have to do is turn my hand from here to here. Okay, that's all you have to do. It's really comfortable. It's not going to be uncomfortable or awkward, but I'm pretending that my nail tech is sitting in the chair on the opposite side here. So that's all I would have to do as a client, just turning my hand from here to get this view. Okay. All right, let's come in a little bit, readjust. There you go. Okay, so you guys can see what my shaping is looking like here. I'm just going to really perfect my sides, making sure everything is nice and straight. And like I said earlier, this is where I'm going to really perfect that free edge and that point, because this way I can see, again, exactly what my client is going to see, so I know everything is going to be nice and straight. And then let's look backwards. Calm down, Victoria. We're not at the top coat yet. I know you're excited. You want to see, but we got to finish our filing. You guys, no amount of top coat is going to hide lumps and bumps. So make sure that you're going through and you're perfecting your shaping, you're perfecting your filing, you're perfecting your structure before you try to put that top coat on. Because I guarantee you, you can put top coat on all you want, but if you still have lumps and bumps, it's not going to be a pretty nail. All right. Let's go ahead and just touch that up really quick. I think we're good there. Okay. Now you can do the top coat chant. Let me turn that off. Let me get my table towels back up here. All right. Oops, sorry. There we go. Okay, so we're going to dust that nail off, get all of that dust cleaned off of there. We're going to use a little bit more of our swipe on my brush here. Clean all of that off. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's looking shiny already. But we're going to do one more coat of our protein bond, and that's what's going to really help to keep that top coat adhered really well, so you don't have any issues with it chipping off. But also, do you see how you can kind of still see some of those scratches? I'm not going to go back and try to buff with my buffer. I don't need to. If I apply my protein bond, that protein bond is going to kind of fill in those little scratch marks, and this is going to really help to keep our nail nice and shiny. It's going to really help to get that top coat all the way down into those little nooks and crannies. Let's see here. I do have my Ultimate Finish top coat. Let's go ahead and put that on there really quick. And you guys, Ultimate Finish, if you haven't tried it yet, you're going to love it. It is a tack-free top coat. So once it's cured out into that light, you're going to cure it for 60 seconds. But once it's done curing, it's going to have a tack-free finish. You don't have to use any cleansers to wipe that off or anything like that. So awesome top coat, super, super easy to use, and it's going to give you that beautiful high shine. All right, I'm going to pop this into the light. Do you guys want a little bonus demo today? I've got a few more minutes that I can do a quick little bonus demo for you. Let me know in the chat. Do you want one more quickie, or do you just want to see this nail? Let me know in the chat real quick. And I'm going to see if I can find my other trainer hand. Hang on. All right. So I have too many trainer hands here, but I think I know the answer to your question, or to my question, that do you want to see another demo? And the answer is going to be yes, of course. I love it, you guys. So Let's get that one back into the light. I've already pre-done a nail here for you guys. So if you want to do this design, you can definitely do this design that I just finished as an overlay or as a not as a dimensional nail. So if you have a client who maybe she likes to change her designs a little bit more often, you can definitely do this design on top of the nail as well. So that's what I'm going to show you here really quick. So I do have a nail that is completed, it's filed, it's not buffed or anything like that, but it has just been filed. I'm going to apply, again, 1 coat of our protein bond. Make sure that nail's nice and dry. And you guys, if you have also clients that want to do just regular gel manicures on their natural nail, this is kind of the technique that you would be using for those as well. So on a client that just wants a gel manicure on her natural nails, you would start with a coat of our ManiQ base. Let me grab that. So on a natural nail gel manicure, start with a coat of ManiQ base, apply that, cure that for 30 seconds, and then you can go into your design. If you are just working on what we've got here is a filed and finished nail, then we can go right from that protein bond to our gel paints here. So let me find my mixing tile here. And you guys, like I was saying earlier, you can mix up your designs, you can mix up your colors. So let's do one that's not a 4th of July. So after a few days here, we're gonna get tired of those red, white, and blues. So I'm gonna be using my pink and my green. And you guys, I'm not sure why I just put these onto the tile. I don't really need them on the tile. I just apparently wanted to show you guys the pink and green. So that's what we're gonna be using. And then I'm gonna grab that white just like we were using back on our other nail here. So let's grab a little bit of the pink. So just like we had done on our first nail, you can apply that right up to the cuticle area. Kind of start to blend that out. However far down you want that onto the nail. And then we'll grab our white. And you guys, if you're enjoying these demos, if you're liking this little bonus today, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that we know you're going to join us. We know that you're going to come back and see us again. Oops, had a little extra on there. So you guys definitely hit that subscribe button. We want to make sure that you guys get all of the free education that you can. All right, and this one, you know what? I'm just going to kind of grab a little bit of that white with grab a little bit of that pink with my white brush here, and then just make sure to clean that off of your brush so you don't get that pink into the bottle. And let's grab some of that green. Start at that end. Maybe a little bit more green. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is looking like an Easter egg. This is going to be great for Easter time. Or just spring, kind of a springy design. And again, we'll clean that out. Grab my little brush here and just kind of tap to blend. If I need to add a little bit of my swipe onto my brush, add a little bit of swipe. And again, just kind of tapping through to blend those. Clean that out. Grab a little bit more of that swipe, kind of tap right through the green and the white. Blending, blending, blending. And maybe just blending a little bit more of that pink and the white together. Okay, I think we're good there. Looks like Christmas. It kind of looks like Christmas. Close, close. All right, you guys, so let me grab that first nail out of the light. This one I'm going to put back in for just a 30-second freeze. We'll throw some foil on there, but now you guys get to see that finished red, white, and blue. So hopefully you guys are going to be doing lots of, well, hopefully you've already done a lot of red, white, and blue, but hopefully this one will give you a little bit of inspiration here as well. So that is our red, white, and blue, and we've got our other pink, white, and green nail in the light here. So let me grab that one back. Let's finish this one out with a little bit of our foil. So just like we did before, take a little bit. You know what? Let me grab, do you guys want silver or gold? Tell me in the chat, silver or gold foil? Because we've got two different foils. We've got the silver that I was using, and we also have gold. Which do you guys think is going to look better with this nail? The gold or the silver? All right, so I see a gold, a silver, gold. Okay, I'm going to go with the next color that I see on the chat. Gold, gold. Okay, we're going with gold. All right, I love it. You guys mix it up a little bit, right? Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of that gold foil, just kind of break that up a little bit. And where'd my brush go? Let me grab my brush. And I want to make sure that I clean that out, make sure I don't have any of that other paint in there. So I think we're good there. Okay, let's pick up a few of these. Oops, let me readjust you guys. There you go. Let's grab some of that gold foil, set her down in there. You can kind of break it up a little bit if you want to. Oops, maybe not quite that big of a piece. And a little bit more right up in there. Again, kind of break it up. Tap it down into the nail. All right, you guys, I think my tile must have had a little bit of gel still on there because my foil is sticking to it. Make sure that if you're putting your foil down onto your tile that it's completely clean, that it doesn't have any of that tacky surface to it, because otherwise your foil is going to stick, just like it is here, but that's okay. We'll make it through. Okay, I think I'm kind of liking how this is looking. Now again, you guys, at this point, all we're going to do is put a top coat over this, so I really want to make sure that all of that little bit of foil is stuck down on there, and really making sure that there's nothing poking up. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab one of our forms and just take that the little center tab out of the form, and I'm going to use that to kind of press down those little bits of foil. This way I'm not pressing my finger onto that tacky surface. I'm not getting any of that tacky surface from the gel onto my skin, but I am going to flatten out any of that foil. Okay. All right, so to finish this nail, let's go back to our Ultimate Finish top coat. And again, you guys, you can use whatever top coat you prefer. I like the Ultimate Finish for this application because it's a little on the thicker side. So anytime I'm using the foils, this is going to work really easily to cap those foils so that I don't feel any last little bits of foil. And you know what, you guys, I skipped a step, and there's a reason that I'm remembering it now. So after I apply that foil, I do like to put it back into the light for just a quick 10-second freeze because it holds that foil in. As I'm putting my top coat on, it kind of moved a couple of pieces of my foil. So I just kind of have to be very careful as I'm putting my top coat on so I don't move that foil. But if you guys, when you're doing this technique, make sure to put that foil into the light to kind of set it into place so that it doesn't move when you do that top coat, okay? I'm just gonna pop that in there just for even like a 10-second freeze at this point, because I'm gonna do one more coat of my Ultimate Finish, and I just wanna kind of leave it slightly uncured so that the next coat is gonna adhere really well, and it's not gonna have any issues with it chipping off. Okay, so just a quick 10-second freeze in the light, and then we'll do another coat to really seal this, make sure that we don't feel any of that texture of our foil. And this is gonna go into that light for a full 60-second cure. But you guys, for right now, for demo, I'm just gonna go a quick 30 seconds so that you guys can see that finished look. And then you don't have to wait for that full 60 seconds. But if you guys missed it, one more time, that was our red, white, and blue 4th of July nail. So hopefully you love that one. Hopefully you'll give it a try. And then we've also got our little bonus add-on nail today with our pink, white, and green and the gold foil. So you guys, hopefully you will give these colors a try, enjoy them, do your own color blends, your own designs here, and you guys have a wonderful 4th of July. Hopefully you are spending it doing something fun, but you guys be safe, enjoy your family and friends, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good afternoon.